Hi there, and welcome to Module 1 of our SOCAC System of Care Advisory Council Advocacy Training. In today's training, we're going to talk about how ideas become laws. So to get us started, I want you to think about, what is an issue that impacts your child and family? Take a moment to think about that issue. It might be that you are a family that is looking for better access to childcare. Perhaps you're a family of an individual that experiences disabilities and you're wondering how to better get services. Or maybe your family has experienced behavioral health crisis and needs greater access to behavioral health supports. Whatever your family's story, there's an issue that you can advocate for. This training is going to talk about how do we take what we are most concerned about, those ideas, and how do those become laws in our state? How do we change laws? So think about one law that you would change in Oregon. I will take, for example, universal preschool. Let's say that we want there to be no income limits to individuals who are accessing free preschool, that should be a right that everyone has. Well, sure, that's a great idea, but how do we get that done? Well, let's look at first of all how our government is organized. So you can see that we have a governor at the top of our organizational chart. In our legislature, in the state legislature, we have both the House and we have representatives and the Senate. And both of the House and the Senate each have committees. So there are House committees and there are Senate committees. So when you have an idea, you take it to your legislator, they come up with a bill, and it has to go to a committee, either on the House side or the Senate side. There are some joint committees which are for issues that involve both House and Senate, such as our budget. The big committee, I call it, I don't know if others call it that, but is the Ways and Means Committee. That's the committee that decides our budget in the state. So the Ways and Means Committee also has subcommittees. Whew, this is a lot of committees, isn't it? But hold on, we're going to get there. So the Ways and Means Committee has a subcommittee on education. So for example, childcare goes through through DELC, the Department of Early Learning and Care, and their budget goes through the Senate subcommittee on education. So these are just one example of how our government is organized. All right, so let's look at this brief slide. So you have an idea. The first thing that you will do is take that idea to your local senator or representative. You can call them, you can email them, and ideally you do both. And hopefully you will get a hold of that person. We have another training that's going to talk about what happened. How do you gather a group together to make sure that your voice is heard? Let's say that I have contacted my local senator and he or she has heard my concern and they've created a bill. So we'll call this Senate Bill 1000. And Senate Bill 1000 is to increase preschool opportunities so that every child in Oregon has the opportunity to experience preschool. They're going to assign that bill a bill number. And then they decide if it's on the Senate president will decide what committee needs to hear the bill. They're the ones that are going to work on the bill. If it's at the House of Representatives, they will hear it and they will decide, well, which committee in the House needs to decide on the bill. The next thing that will be decided is, does it cost money? Is there a fiscal or a revenue impact? That fiscal impact, which means money, means that it will go through the Ways and Means Committee, and they will decide what kind of fiscal impact. Then the last part, and this is where it gets complicated, we have committee hearings. So a committee hearing just means this is the time when legislators, senators, and representatives hear about the particular bill. And this is a great opportunity for them to hear from you, their constituents. All right, so let's take a look at these steps. I know that that was a lot of committees, but let's follow this path. So I have an idea. I want everyone in Oregon to have an opportunity to send their child to preschool. I go to my local representative. My local representative, she or he, hears me. They create a bill number. All right. So we have, was it Senate bill or House? If it goes to representatives, it's House Bill 1000. So House Bill 1000 then gets assigned to a committee. It happens to be in the House that we have the House Early Childhood Committee, which is the perfect place for House Bill 1000, my pretend bill, to go. So House Bill 1000 goes to the House Committee. This is the first place where you can advocate. At this public hearing, they will have the first reading of the bill, and they will tell the members of the committee what this bill is about. So you can sign up to testify, and you can register to testify in person, or you can write a letter and submit written testimony, which we will go over in later trainings how to do that specifically. All right, so our bill goes to the House Committee, and they decide, ooh, that's going to cost money. So now House Bill 1000 is going to go to the Ways and Means Committee. The Senate or the subcommittee on education will decide, well, how much does it cost to actually provide preschool for every child in Oregon? And they're going to put a dollar amount on it. Once it's approved in the House Committee and it goes to the full Ways and Means, then it goes to the full House, and the House of Representatives is going to vote on it. All right, so think of this as a baton. We've just handed our committee, our bill off. It passed the committee, and now it goes to the full House. So all of the House of Representatives in Oregon will have an opportunity to vote. For simplicity's sake, let's say that they love it and they like the revenue impact, or they think we can afford it. They will then hand it off to a Senate committee. And then we start the process over again. All right, so the Senate committee, the Senate Education, Early Childhood Education, and Behavioral Health Committee then is going to listen to us. Again, this is where your voice matters. We need you to show up again to talk with this committee. They will hear some of the same testimonies and information that happened in the House Committee, and they will vote on it. Let's just assume that they love it. It's going to go then to the full Senate Committee, or to the full Senate, and the Senate will vote on this particular House Bill 1000. Let's say they also love it because they also want every 3, 4, and 5-year-old to have a preschool opportunity, and it gets sent to the governor. We'll look a little bit, let's look and see what the governor options the governor has in a minute. Now, again, this is where your voice matters. Again, you can call or email your representatives on the committee. You can give testimony at the hearing. You can provide written testimony, or you maybe just want to show up at the Capitol. I've seen this happen too, where everyone who's in favor of a bill wears maybe the same color shirt, or maybe you wear a button. This tells everyone at the particular hearing that this matters. Okay, I'm gonna click on a few of these again. Now it goes we've passed the House, we've passed the Senate, and now our particular bill goes to the governor. She has three options. She can sign the bill and say, yes, I love it. She can veto the bill. If the bill gets vetoed, then it goes back to the full House and Senate. And the full House and Senate, if they have 2/3 of a majority in favor, then in both chambers, then that will override a veto. Usually, she's wanting to see changes made, and we sometimes the bill gets killed. But usually, most often, the by this point, the governor's office will also pass the bill. So in Oregon, this is another way to look at how a bill becomes a law. We've covered a lot today. This is a pretty long and arduous process of how an idea becomes a law. But what we want you to know is that you can impact change, that you can come up with an idea and either work alone or with others to make sure that your idea can become law and help change law. Thanks for coming today. We hope that you will also listen to Module 2 on how to contact your legislator, and Module 3, which is telling your story. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.